Hi, it's Dr. Jen here. I am wishing you all a very healthy and happy new year. And I know if you are still in benzo withdrawal or bind, benzodiazepine induced neurological dysfunction, I know that sometimes the start of the new year or a holiday, any holiday, it can be challenging. It really can, because I think it's a time when we're looking at our lives and we're thinking, you know, even more so than usual, we're thinking, "I wanna be healthy," and maybe you've had a few holidays already where you haven't been your old self because you're still recovering, so I just know how difficult the holidays can be. But I want to tell you that you really are gonna get well, I promise. I promise. The ultimate outcome for benzo withdrawal is that we heal, so you are going to get well. You really are. But I just wanted to pop in. I didn't make an announcement. It was very spur of the moment to pop in and see if anybody who's in the benzo community pops in and we can have a little chat. Let's see. I was looking over on the chat feed here, but I'll hang out for a few minutes and see what happens. As you can see, I am not in my normal office. I am not in my office in California. I am helping my 93-year-old parents at our farm in Georgia. I'll be going home shortly. Um, I have somebody who's taking care of the home fires back in my office for me in California, but I'm here helping my parents. And this is my late grandmother's room. We called her Granny. She lived with us, or lived with my parents for quite some time, so I'm in her room. So, hence, you're not seeing my normal view. So what can we say about benzo withdrawal as we start the new year? Oh gosh, there's just so many things that I would love to share with you to give you some tips on how to navigate 2023, maybe with a little bit more coping skills than you had before. Hey, Stacy, happy new year. Needing encouragement. Oh, Stacy, I'll give you as much as you need because really and truly, we really do get well. We really, truly do get well. So, I'm a huge advocate for the four cornerstones of well being: eat right, move enough, stress less, and love well. And love well doesn't necessarily mean feeling love, although that's a beautiful thing. But in benzo withdrawal, many of us can't access those positive emotions. So, love is a way of being in the world: kind, compassionate, generous, filled with gratitude, humility, service to others, those types of things, curiosity, awe, wonder, forgiveness. So, it's those four cornerstones of well being that really help any human being live a happier, healthier life, and certainly helps us navigate our lives with much less wear and tear and chaos and those types of things. So do your best to implement the four cornerstones to the best of your ability. Practice a boatload of patience, acceptance, gratitude. And I know it's hard when we're living a life that is so different than what we want to be living, and we're suffering so many physical, mind, body, or spirit symptoms. It's really hard then to reach into this bag that feels almost empty of anything positive and pull out gratitude. But we do better if we do our best to practice gratitude. And I did share a gratitude practice. We now know that neuroscientists teach us that one of the ways that we can practice gratitude is to have a story that we know about gratitude, about somebody giving or receiving gratitude, or us giving or receiving gratitude, and think about that story 3 to 5 times, a week. Well, I'm sorry, about 3 times a week, 5 minutes at a time, and really think about the feelings involved, oh, that good stuff, because that helps rewire our brain and our nervous system in a very particular way that helps us to be happier and healthier. And it's going to help us navigate our symptoms a little bit better for sure. Um, so, distraction, patience, gratitude, um, those types of things. Acceptance. Oh, acceptance is huge. And I know it's hard, Stacy. I'm not trying to minimize it all and saying, oh, if you just do these little things, it'll be better. No, this is a tough one. Benzo withdrawal is a real challenge. But you are gonna get through it. We do. And I always say, "It's okay to do it messy." You know, it's okay to have a meltdown. It's okay to kick and scream. It's okay to throw rocks at God. It's okay. You just don't hurt yourself or somebody else. You don't reinstate the drug or, take something else in the any type of substance that we know is gonna slow down your healing. And outside of those things, you just do you. Do the best that you can, but you really are going to get well. Hey, Adam, I'm so glad that you're here. Tapering and everything is over. Traumatic. Can't have any joy at all. No life at all. Can't live in any. I dose doesn't help at all. Every day I survive. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. 17 months is a very long time, I know. But in the big scheme of things, if we look at the entirety of our lives, it is just a season and it's a chapter. And I'm not at all minimizing what you're going through. I lived through a very long recovery myself, but I just want you to know that it is going to come to an end. So you just keep going. And I know it's so hard when we can't access that the good things, the positive, and that's because we're mostly in a protect state. Our autonomic nervous system is mostly in a protect state of fight, flight, or freeze. And when we're there, since state drives story, the state of our nervous system fuels and flavors our thoughts, feelings, and actions. It's all going to be doom and gloom and catastrophic and regret and anxiety and all that. Because state drives story. You can't access your nervous system is it having a difficult time moving over into a ventral vagal response, into the connect state, and that's where all the positivity resides. So through no fault of your own or for anyone in benzo withdrawal, it's really difficult to feel positive, to think positive. It's like if you had a broken leg, it's really hard to go run a marathon or even just to get up and walk from one room to the other because you got a broken leg. And in benzo withdrawal, we have a broken nervous system. So we're just not ourselves. And, people can say, well, just think happy thoughts or do this or do that. But we would if we could. But I promise it's gonna get better, Adam. It really will. Just keep going. I mean, that's my advice to everybody. Do your best and just keep going because one day it really does come to an end. I promise. After what, 18 years on the drug, and I was eventually, tapered, brought back up, went back down, cold turkeyed, off of the equivalent, I think, of around 13 milligrams of Valium. I was on clonazepam. I had a horrific recovery. And, like many people, I thought it was never gonna end. I thought I would never get my life back the way I wanted it. I thought I'd be broken or damaged or somehow just flawed the rest of my life and just kinda eke out this, like, subhuman existence, and boy, was I wrong. I am living my highest and best potential. I'll be 65 in March, and I am truly living a life that I never thought possible. I mean that. That's not hyperbole. I'm not exaggerating. I never thought I could be this person. But we get here, so please just keep going. Please keep going. And thank you for joining us, Adam. Hey, Winnie, I'm glad that you're here, and happy New Year Day. Thank you, same to you. And did you have bad acid reflux? It's horrible, I need to take uh, don't know if I can pronounce that properly, even though it bothers me. I also have benzobel. I did not have a lot of acid reflux, I had a lot of burping. I did have benzo belly. I had so much gas, like, I farted all the all the time. I mean, just I it was like, "Where's it coming from?" It was amazing. But I didn't have so much of the acid reflux. Now, I know when before I got off the medication, I had so much burning after I would take my pill. I took my pill around 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I was finally down to just 1 dose in the last 9 years of me being on a benzo, and after I would take it, my whole throat would just burn. So, I don't know what that was about, I don't know what was going on. I mean, it was take my pill, I'm just like somebody just put gas down my throat, I hated it. But I didn't have, acid reflux per se, but a lot of people in benzo withdrawal do. You wanna be really careful about how you treat it. I'm not an MD, so anything that I say, it's my opinion. I'm not diagnosing anybody. I'm not treating anybody. I am not a licensed anything. I have my doctorate. In psychology, in postdoc, got a lot of studies after that. I chose not to become a licensed psychologist. I prefer to coach. But I have worked very hard and earned my doctorate. But remember, I'm not an MD. So there are lots of things that we have to be careful of in benzo withdrawal when we've got that acid reflux, because a lot of the PPIs, the proton pump inhibitors, can really rev up our anxiety. And if you go and you really research about them, doctors are really quick to prescribe them when in fact some of the acid reflux might be caused by low stomach acid. So some of the things that we can do for ourselves is to heal our gut, you know, our gut microbiome. And we do that through a whole food plant-based diet. So the more fiber that you can get in there, the better. And then of course, you might want to minimize some of the acid causing foods that we know can cause, issues, you know, uh, coffee, no alcohol. Nobody in benzo withdrawal should be drinking, and tomatoes, the really highly acidic foods. So be careful with that. It is going to get better. It really is. I mean, it just is. I just, with my whole heart, I could just wish that I could just fast forward and give you all just even just 30-second just glimpse of who you're gonna be and what your life will be like. It's really gonna be wonderful. So just keep in mind this is just a season. Hard, arduous, lonely, challenging, all of the above. I know. I know I walked through my own, but you really are gonna get well. Okay, let's see. Ashley. I'm so glad that you're here. Thanks for popping in. Oops, let me scroll back up. And I am going to try to answer everybody. We'll see how much time we've got here. Let's see. I'm 2 years and 7 months off Clonaz. Congrats. Still healing. The floodgates of my emotions switched on. Oh, yes. As one. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. It's Yes. I'm glad they switched on. Yes, I understand how overwhelming it is. And you kind of think about, if you've been holding a pendulum up here forever, for a long time, and you let it go, it's going to swing right past. Oh, sorry, you can't see my hand. It's going to swing right past, like kind of where we want it to be. And it's going to go woo up way over here. And then it's going to swing way back, maybe not quite as high as it was. So it's just going to keep doing that for a while until you kind of get back to homeostasis. But you will get there, I promise. I know the first few months of once I felt like I was I called it coming back online. Whew, really, really, I don't wanna say frightening, but uncomfortable at times. It was like, let me just buckle up my just let me buckle up my seatbelt and go for this, roller coaster ride. Just do your best to try to keep asking yourself, what's the most loving thing to think, feel, or do? This goes for everybody. Because you may get triggered and you're gonna wanna react with something, snarky. You might get agitated very easily, or you might just have this big burst of, good, whatever, however you wanna define it, whatever adjectives you want, and then you can become quite impulsive. Please keep in mind that we are often diagnosed as having bipolar disorder when indeed we do not. But just know that it is going to, that pendulum's finally gonna come back into a range of responses and reactions that are far more comfortable. But the things that we can help ourselves is to keep asking, what's the most loving thing to think, feel, or do? And to try to make decisions within those parameters. And sometimes the best decision is just to put your tongue to the roof of your mouth and not to say something. I'm always saying, I'd rather be happy than right. So I've learned to just keep this shut. People don't need my opinion. They don't need to give them unasked for advice. And most people just need for us to listen. So just be aware that while this topsy-turvy, emotional roller coaster is going on, do your best to stay centered in love. Easier said than done, I know, but see if you can do that. And by the way, I just dropped a new video. I took a couple of days to create the slides, and then I recorded myself reading and talking about the slides. And it's about being okay with the dark and moving into 2023 with grace. And I touch on the autonomic nervous system and love and all of those wonderful things that go in with love and how they literally reshape for the better our brain and our nervous system. So if you've got a minute, the video's, I don't know, 14 minutes long, something around there. You might wanna, check that out because 'cause it'll tell you a little bit more about the neuroscience about being love in the world. And I hope that was helpful, Ashley, but I'm really glad that your feelings have come back online. It feels really good, to step out of that zombie world that many of us live in, or that horrific, horrific depression that so many of us feel, or the rage or the anger or the frustration, all of the above. It's just nice to get some of the more joyful feelings back in. So I'm happy for you. Hey, Stacy, yes, it's very hard to be patient. I know. Oh boy, do I know. I know. We just have to do our best with it. We just do our best. And when we become impatient or frustrated or whatever, don't beat our we shouldn't beat ourselves up. It's not healthy too. And again, maybe go watch the video that I dropped a little earlier today because it'll explain why it's better not to do that. We're just human and none of us are perfect. Let's see. And V Walker, hi, glad that you're here, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Yes. Keep going. Keep going. You've got this. Keep going. You've got this. And thank you for joining us. And Adam says, I have no hope, none left in the tank. I understand that. So many of us get to that place. I get it. I do. Just sit in a room and losing. How can you not stress when you're always it's really hard. It's really, really hard. So we have to remind ourselves that state is driving story, and our anxiety and our fear and all that up in our head, all those thoughts, we have to remind ourselves they're no more significant than our farts. Our farts are evidence of our digestive system doing its thing. And so all this is just evidence of our autonomic nervous system doing its thing. We're not going to let our farts run our life. We shouldn't allow our thoughts and our feelings, especially from a dysregulated nervous system, run our lives as well. And all of this is so much easier said than done. I know. But if we really can understand state's driving story and practice, practice, practice distraction, patience, acceptance, you can find a way to be of service to others. And there are lots of ways that we can do that, even those of us that were bedbound, or practice generosity as much as possible. And there are lots of ways we can practice generosity. It actually rewires our brain and our nervous system and it helps a lot. Those four cornerstones, they're just amazing. But I can understand how you feel like there's nothing left in your tank. I get it. I do. I was there too. But what we do is we just keep going, even on an empty tank. I know it's not ideal, right? It's not optimal. I know. But that's what we need to do. That's what we have to do. So we keep going because one day the tank's going to get full again. And it's just so amazing. I mean, it's just so amazing. It's just amazing, truly. And you will get here, but I am sorry for your suffering. And Winnie says, keep going, Adam. Right. Yes. I'm almost in have more to go. Finish your taper. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, you can do it. We can all get off our benzos. It's just some of us have a harder time than others, but we do recover. We really do. And I am so grateful now that I went through benzo withdrawal. I know that sounds ridiculous. I was just having this discussion with my mom. She watched the video that I created. She wanted to see it. She's kind of curious about my work. And I told her, I said, as hard as it was, because I'd call them in the middle of the night and they had to financially help me for a while. I'd gone through all my savings because I wasn't able to work. I mean, I had a really challenging time. I told her, I said, looking at it all, I'm grateful that I went through it because I don't know if I could have ever become this person, this version of me, had I not gone through it. So I was really grateful, or I am really grateful that I went through it. Now, before you throw tomatoes at me, I wasn't grateful for it when I was going through it. I promise I was not. But now, with time under my belt, I realize it was a gift. It really was. And I have a hunch many of you are gonna feel like it was the horrible gift, and I blogged about that, the horrible gift. But you will find this is a time for really amazing growth, of really learning who you are, what you stand for, and you will all get here to this really beautiful, beautiful version of yourself. So just keep going. Let's see. Um, I got major fart burn. Oh, Scarface, I love that, and I don't know if what you're describing is what I experienced, but what I experienced was whenever I'd pass gas, my whole anus just was on fire. I've never had that before. I mean, not to that, like, oh, it was it was so uncomfortable and embarrassing because I would even lose control. I can remember walking upstairs just farting away. It's like, "Whoever's behind me, sorry. I can't put a plug in it." I can look back and laugh at when I was going through it. I was horrified, absolutely horrified, and I'll just share this. Um, I had severe constipation, I mean, severe. I can't believe I'm gonna put this out into the universe, but whatever. It's benzo withdrawal. I mean, it was severe, right? I lost the sensation. You know how you get the urge, the fullness, and you go, "Oh, I need to go poop." Never just didn't have it. So I used glycerin suppositories, and, every few days that's what I would do, but I ran out. So, you know, I'm very wobbly and very weak, and I walk down the street to my Walgreens store, to the drugstore, and couldn't find them, and so I asked this young man, he was crouched down working on a shelf, and I asked him, I said, "Where are the glycerin suppositories?" And he said, "What?" And I said, "Glycerin suppositories, they're" and I don't remember if he asked me what they were for, but I remember saying, "They're for constipation." Um, and he said, "Oh, wait a minute, I don't know." And he stood up and he hollers across the store, "Hey, Bill, do you know where the glycerin suppositories are?" And he points to me, "She's constipated." Everybody in the checkout line turns and everybody's looking at me. And I'm just going, "Can the floor just open up and swallow me right now?" Oh, at the time, I was so triggered. I just was so overwhelmed. Now I can laugh about it. It's just body functions. It's just body functions. But I had a lot of constipation and a boatload of gas, and it burned. So I don't know if that's what you were talking about, um, as well, Scarface, but that's what I had. Okay, and V Walker Winnie, I had some horrible and oh, thank you for everything you do. You're so welcome, Oliver. And Robin says, "What happens when severe fibromyalgia exacerbates the nervous system along with Valium?" I don't have a scientific answer for that. I'm not an MD and I'm not a pharmacist. But here's what I do know is that those four cornerstones help with benzo withdrawal, they help with fibromyalgia, they help with chronic fatigue syndrome, they help with heart disease and cancer, autoimmune disorders, type 2 diabetes. Those four cornerstones are like, they're everything. And I'm sorry that you are struggling with both things. But if you can do your best to embrace those four cornerstones, it will really stack the cards in your favor for a hopefully a quicker recovery, but a real solid recovery, and for you feeling healthier and happier than if you don't embrace those four cornerstones. But I wish that I had some science that I could share with you, but I do not. I do not. But Robin, I'm sorry that you have both of that to deal with. And let's see. Oliver says, Anthony Williams has many plant-based protocols for healing heavy metals. Okay, I'm not familiar with that. But I just need to say, and thank you for sharing first. And Oliver, yeah, thank you. But please, let's be very, very careful about implementing a detox or a cleanse per se. Any protocol that's really heavy on cleansing and detoxification generally in the benzo community can flare us up. I've talked to thousands of people. I've been in this community for 12 years, and I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, I bought this cleanse," or "I'm doing this cleanse," or "This is a detox thing." Mm, and that can flare us up. What we really wanna focus on is all the nutrition that supports myelination. It supports our gut microbiome. Um, supports our immune system and our nervous system clearly. And of course, if we've got a healthy gut, those things are going to be more healthy. Anything that's going to help with the gut brain axis, all of that's just going to be so wonderful for us. And it is the plant kingdom That is so helpful, and I'm not familiar at all with, anything that Anthony, is putting out, and, and he's probably got some wonderful things. I'm not at all disparaging any of his work. I'm just saying if anybody is offering a specific cleanse, like here's a 6-day cleanse or whatever, and you're doing this real severe protocol, please think twice before you engage with that if you're still really symptomatic. I've just seen it backfire so many times. But we do want to embrace a whole food plant-based diet for lots of reasons. And I know there's a lot of stuff out there. Not even going to get into the arguments and the debates and all that. Um, but we do know that years ago, there was some research done by scientists who were looking at the damage that alcohol has done on the GABA receptors. And then another researcher, they did some research with just diazepam with Valium, and they were looking at the GABA receptors. Now, I don't know anything about what the protocol was, what they did. I don't know much about it. But I was more interested in learning about here are the findings. And what they have come up with is that something called HDAC inhibitors, histone deacetylase inhibitors, are what helps GABA receptors heal and protect the GABA receptors. And guess where we find those? In the plant kingdom, in foods. And I blogged about it a handful of years ago. So you can always go to my website, benzowithdrawalhelp.com, and put in HDAC inhibitors or, yeah, I think that would be the best search. And then you can go and read. There's links to the research and there's links to what are the foods highest in HDAC inhibitors. I think if I remember, citrus fruit is pretty high in it. I don't recall off the top of my head because I eat this amazingly big variety, of foods. So I feel like I'm taking care of my GABA receptors, and mine are healed. I'm good. I don't even have my pre-existing anxiety or my old panic, quote unquote, disorder. Not even close. I truly have healed in all the ways that for myself as a human being, with all of my wounds and issues, have healed. And I really firmly believe that my plant-based diet have played a major part in it, a very major part in it. Let's see. And Flora. Hi, Flora. I'm glad that you're here. And Flora says, I went through benzo withdrawal 2 years ago and I'm doing great now. Don't give up. Oh, Flora, that's so precious of you to come in and share that with us. Thank you. You just practiced the fourth cornerstone of being love in the world, of being of service to others. Thank you for that. Thank you for coming and giving some encouragement. That's wonderful. We need a lot of support stories. I mean, a lot of success stories to support everybody in benzo withdrawal. So I'm really glad that you popped in. Thank you. And Winnie says, yeah, I have a hiatal hernia in the Valium Keats. Yes. Got it. Yeah. I mean, sometimes we just have to do what we have to do. Let's see. Will chest pain go away? Yes, Elizabeth, and thank you for joining. I'm glad you're here. Any of the symptoms that come in because of benzo withdrawal, they're there because of benzo withdrawal, are going to leave upon our recovery and go away. Now, I'm not an MD. I can't diagnose anybody, so I can't say, "Oh, your chest pains they're from benzo withdrawal." But I can say chest pains caused by benzo withdrawal go away. I had severe pain. It felt like a tight band. I mean, tight, 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 like it was gonna be hard to even move my diaphragm to breathe, and then it felt like somebody was reaching up under my rib cage and pinching different parts of my heart. I mean, this pinch, it was so uncomfortable, and of course, being in benzo withdrawal, your mind goes to the most catastrophic thoughts, so I was thinking I'm having, some cardiac event that was going to be my ultimate demise. Um, so I had a lot of heart pain, chest tightness. I don't have any of it now. I don't have anything. I mean, anything left. I'm healed. That's back there. So you will get better. But chest pain, the tight, clamping chest, heat, burning, twisting, pounding, all of that does happen in benzo withdrawal for sure. And let's see, and I'll just answer a few more, and then I will wish you all a very happy New Year and go back and join my family. But I did wanna just pop in 2023, let me just take a moment here from answering and say, I'm so excited about 2023. I'm rolling out a course in February to teach therapists and doctors and coaches and anybody in the medical community everything that I know about benzo withdrawal. I'm going to certify them so that they can then work better with their patients and clients about benzo withdrawal. And I'm really excited because I want to hold more lives like this, and I'll do better at announcing them, and I wanna grow my support group. I love my support group. Oh my gosh, I'm just when I look back, on my career, I really have a feeling that my Heal with Dr. Jen, that support group is gonna be the thing that I hold dearest to my heart. That I'm most proud of everybody in that group. It is such a special group of people, and I just feel like there's so much good that's happening there. I just love it. So 2023, grow my support group, but also to create and roll out more videos. So, uh, I need to post a video and just say, "This video is just for everybody," to just post underneath here in the comments the topics that you want me to cover, because I this is the year that I really, you know, I just I'm on fire, let me put it that way, a good fire. Very, very, very motivated to roll up my sleeves and do even more for this community. I just y'all are so special, you are suffering something that is it's torture and inhumane for many of us, and the medical community knows very little about it. And so you are all each so near and dear to my heart. Um, and I know that you're gonna get well, but I know while you're going through it, you need a lot of hand holding and a lot of support. And um, that's what I wanna do. I wanna continue doing that. So I'm really looking forward to 2023. Let's see. Yes, constipation, right? Yes, and gastroparesis. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to use enemas milk. Yep. Yep, I had POTS too. They told me I had mast cell activation syndrome, but I didn't. All of that went away for me. Oh, and then you got hit with COVID. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Yeah, COVID, any viral infection, even just a, common bad cold can rub up our symptoms. I'm so sorry that you have that. I'm hoping that a lot of that just fades away because I was diagnosed with most of that too. And I did have I mean severe, severe POTS. I couldn't even sit up in bed. I'm running around. Like I said, my parents, I'm helping them here. Um, and I just don't have any of it. I'm good to go. And let's see, any experience with Lyrica? I've helped a few clients off of Lyrica. It has a withdrawal syndrome similar to benzo withdrawal for sure. To the benzos. So everything that applies to benzo withdrawal, apply that, to Lyrica as well. I'm not exactly sure. I've I haven't had anybody say this is the taper schedule for Lyrica, just like, we know, 10% of your current dose, blah, 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 within, 2 to 4 weeks. We've got the Ashton manual is what I'm trying to say for benzo withdrawal. I'm not at all an expert on the tapering schedule, but I would assume, and it's an assumption, not a fact, it's just an assumption on my part, that it would be very similar. But I have had clients get off of Lyrica and get well. Let's see, what causes feel insane, and so it was morning doom. And the mornings are worse for most of us, Adam, in benzo withdrawal for sure, for sure. It's just state driving story. It's just that hyper excited nervous system, and the theory is the cortisol that wakes us up. There's no counterbalance. We've got a broken inhibitory system. There's no break. So it just lifts us up out of consciousness and just keeps on going. Intrusive thoughts, racing thoughts, all of the limbic system, all of the threat detection circuitry stuff gets into play because we don't have that balance. We don't have the ability for homeostasis. But we have to remember state's driving story. We're not insane. We just feel insane. And I know it's really hard to have to keep reminding ourselves and doing this internal talking all the time to ourselves, but we're better off when we do that. All right, I'll answer a few more, and then I will wish you all a very, very happy and healthy new year. Let's see. Let's see. And chest pain will go away. Yep, there you go. Very good. Oh, very good, Winnie. Thank you. Good response. And KR, glad that you've joined us and says, everybody make sure you have a solid support. And, yep. I'm so glad that you didn't. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's a sad, sad story. I'm so sorry. I hope that you can find ways, to work within the boundaries that you have now. Those four cornerstones, honestly, they're like magic. I hope you can apply them in your life. And thank you for joining us today. Oh, Robin, you're 74. You're good. You're good. You're still going to heal. I've helped people in their mid to late 80s get off. I've helped doctors and I've even helped some psychiatrists. Yeah. And the medical community's like, I just didn't know. Like I didn't know. I had no idea. Like, well, and I think it's those doctors who've lived through this that really can make these big ripples in the world, right? Because they've got the clout, they've got the MD behind their name, and they've lived through it. So I really enjoy helping them. Well, I enjoy helping everybody, but I really enjoy helping the medical community live through it and really educate them so that they can be these beacon of lights out there, those big ripples to help in the world. Let's see. Scarface polydrugged. I'm so sorry. You're so welcome. Put me on. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Years of, yep. Oh God is, yes. Good. And always happy to share my story if it will help just one person. Oh, of course, of course. Is horrendous, but there is a light. Yes, there is. May I ask you a question? Of course, and then I will go ahead and type away, Jacqueline. And if I didn't say your name and say welcome, I'm glad that you joined us. My humble apologies. I always try to make it a point to say hello to everybody. I know in benzo withdrawal how important it is to be recognized and to know that somebody sees us and gets us and understands us, and I do. So if I did miss your name, it wasn't on purpose. My humble apologies, and thank you so much for joining us. Let's see, and we will wait for Jacqueline to ask her question, and it hasn't popped up yet. Let's see, here we go. If I'm water tapering, can I reduce my morning dose and then work on my night dose later? Yes, yes, you can, based on the Ashton manual. And I'm just relaying what, some of her tapering schedules, what they're like. I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way. I think the best way is what works for you. Some people might want to lower, if they're taking it numerous times a day, they just want to maybe lower all the doses equally a little over time, and whatever that cut is then equals whatever, percentage that they're comfortable doing. But yes, that is okay to do. I think the only time that we need, or maybe one of the times, shouldn't speak in absolutes. One of the times we might want to not cut out a dose if we're, dosing a few times around the clock is if we're on Xanax. If you're on a really short acting benzo, because you might then throw yourself more into interdose withdrawal. Excuse me, but the longer acting benzos, I've got lots of clients who've said, I need it more at night. I'm going to get rid of my morning dose. I'm okay without it. And then I've had others say, I'm just going to reduce a little of everything, or reduce a little at the night nose, the next time over here. Um, there's just not a lot of science, if any at all, about the tapering process and what's going on with our brain and nervous system. So just listen to your gut intelligence, your wisdom, and do what you think is right for you. Okay. And you're on clonazepam. All right. Everyone is different. I'm a rat and I need, yep. Absolutely. Like I said, do what is best for you. All right, my benzo friends, thank you so much for joining me today. And I wish each and every one of you truly a very happy and healthy new year. Please, um, just what am I trying to say? I hope that you don't look at this new year with, I need to make a resolution based on anxiety or fear or regret. I'm not good enough. I'm not doing it right. I didn't do this right. I got it wrong in, 2022. Mm. I hope that you will make some intentions for the new year based on love. And that means loving yourself. And that means loving the good and the bad, the light and the dark. We are full human beings. And that fullness includes a little bit of everything. And there are lots of things that we can change. And there will come a time in your life when you're going to be well enough to address the things that you want to change. But even here, even me in this place where I feel so whole and so healed and so put together, I'm still not perfect. No one is. I still have character defects. I still have my flaws that will probably never change. And so radical acceptance to love the light and the dark within myself. That keeps when we do that, that helps keep our nervous system over in that connect state, that parasympathetic ventral vagal response, where then we can think, feel, and act positive, pro-social. And that's where then we can reach our highest and best potential. So I hope as you move into the new year that you hold love, of being love, as that's your mantra. That's your North Star. That's what you're moving toward, into, around, amid, amongst, in every moment of every day. And I ask myself it so many times a day, what's the most loving thing to think, feel, or do? And then I try my best to do that. And I'm not perfect. I fail sometimes. But when I do, I practice some forgiveness. I pick myself up and I dust myself off and I learn and I keep moving forward. And I hope that you will all do the same. Keep moving forward. I know this is difficult. It took me a long, long, long time. I was in and out of psych wards, lockdown wards. Doctors didn't understand it. I didn't understand. Well, I understood that I was in benzo withdrawal, but I didn't, till you're living through it, you just really don't know exactly what it is. So I got through it, and I am truly the healthiest and happiest I've ever, ever, ever been, with so many skills and tools now, and I really do live the 4 cornerstones every single day. Eat right, move enough, stress less, love well, and it makes all the difference in my life. You're gonna get here. You're gonna be the best version of yourself, I promise. So keep going, and again, I wish you all a very healthy and happy 2023. And if you need help, if you wanna book a one-to-one, my website, Benzo Withdrawal Help, please do. If you need more support, you wanna be in one of the most positive, loving, support groups that I think on the planet for benzo withdrawal or bind, benzodiazepine-induced neurological dysfunction, Heal with Dr. Jen. We meet on Discord. We would love to have you. I'm here to help. Take good care.